We never really thought about how lucky we were at the time. I did international history and politics, and it was a very competitive course. There's only 24 of us, I think.
I'd met Angela a few months before she took up her course. I used to travel there by motorbike, stay over illicitly in Ellerslie Hall, was it? And then one journey on the way home had a motorcycle accident. That put me out of work for a while because I did a physical job. And I managed to get on a course at Leeds Poly, and that was computing and business studies. Our life at Leeds while studying involved a great deal of fun. The feeling nowadays is there's very little of that because students have to work multiple part-time jobs in the evening to see them through. Those that have difficulty getting a grant or have no money behind them, I think it's really important that you can lift the load off them a bit so that they can learn the stuff outside of the course that Leeds can provide.
We majored on ENTS at the time. It was a very exciting time. We were one of the most successful university venues in the country at the time. It's all part of that musical intensity that was the early 80s. And we were part of that scene. Leeds was one of the largest campus universities, so you got that sense of togetherness, but also you were right in the middle of the city. And so what was interesting was actually something that I don't think we spent a lot of time thinking about then, but since then has become really important, which is that the university is part of the city. It's not separate from the city. And I think that ethos is something that's informed my working life right the way through. So much more, lots of stuff around inclusion and collaboration and so on. And I don't think I even realised where it come from until quite recently. In my first summer, I went back home. That was the only summer holiday that I went back home. And from then on, we stayed at Leeds. It's a good part of our lives.
I think one of the things that made me think recently about students nowadays is that I applied to my local authority in those days for a grant as a mature student and received a full grant, and so my worries were over. Students nowadays have a hell of a more difficult time, and so we had a conversation, and I think I said, didn't I, what about leaving something to Leeds? And Angela jumped on that straight away.
So not having children, you have to think about where you're going to leave your estate, and a lot of what we have has come from our the learning at Leeds, the experience at Leeds, and what that did for us as a foundation. And what we've ended up doing is we've left bequests to family members and friends and so on, goddaughters and the like, but actually Leeds is going to get the residual of our estate. The legacy will support scholarships to support students with less in their family background in terms of resources, to enable them to participate in the things outside studying.
I think it's really important that you can lift the load off them a bit so that they can learn the stuff outside of the course that Leeds can provide to make you a more rounded person. So one day in Leeds came out of the blue for me, and that was an invitation to see how these legacies are put to use.
And we discovered the work that's been going on around into university, and the stories of some of the people who've come through the Hare Hills Centre. You just think, weren't we lucky? Going to university was something that everybody did. I went to a grammar school, and so that was the sort of normal next stage. And now it's good to participate and contribute back to helping people realise their ambitions.
It's a bit of a shock when you sit down and say, let's, for insurance purposes, see what we're worth. And it's that blunt. And then you suddenly have to take a step backwards and think, what are you going to do with all of this? You just got that warm glow that you can do something useful with it. One day in Leeds was absolute confirmation that that was the right thing to do.